Welcome back, everyone. We have the next session will start. I'm glad to see you back again, and I hand the digital microphone to Suzanne.
Super, thank you, Robert. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Anita Richter. She's Vice President Tax Technology Innovation at eClear AG. Anita is a graduated economist and German syndic tax advisor. She started her career at KPMG, where she spent 5 years in corporate tax advisory and M&A tax projects before moving to Springer Nature Group, the second largest scientific publisher worldwide, where she headed the global indirect tax function and successfully designed and implemented a digital transformation and automation strategy of global indirect tax-related processes and business flows within the group. Today, Anita is going to talk to us about the importance of digital transformation, and she's going to explain why VAT returns become obsolete. The floor is yours, Anita.
Thank you very much. Yeah, welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here to present actually the new solutions or the future of tax technology. We already heard in the prior and former presentation some questions are also relating to the e-commerce market, to the future of the marketplaces, and also how tax authorities will handle these. eClear is a company that is focusing on exactly that. We are focusing on the e-commerce market. We are a company that is based in Germany, founded in 2016. And I would like to take you on a journey to explain the future on tax technology. How could that look like? How do the solution of eClear look like? And how do we disrupt as a company the world of VAT? We already learned yesterday in a couple of really great presentations how complex the VAT within Europe is. So even though we are facing or we have a European directive stating all the rules to be applied by single European Union member states, we are still facing a lot of differences in the different jurisdictions. So the directive is translated into local law, which means that taxpayers still have to make themselves or to grant knowledge on the local rules, to get information on the local rules, especially in the e-commerce market. That can become really challenging when you have to identify for 27, including other European countries, for more than 30 plus tax jurisdictions, how the rules have to apply for a specific business or service in the e-commerce markets. Even though we are the European Union, we still face a lot of different VAT and customs rules in the different member states. In the country, the destination principle and the regulations that come into force as of 1st of July do make that even more complex, especially for the e-commerce sellers, e-commerce merchants, which are now facing the questions how to handle their sales to local customers, to consumers in the country of destination. Which tax rate should apply to the products that I sell? The European VAT package on e-commerce is only one reform that we've seen in the last couple of months that makes it very complex to do cross-border business. I see that also the European Union is trying and helping merchants and sellers with a lot of information on the website. Also, a database is available where sellers can collect information that they need in order to cope with these new regulations. However, looking at, for example, the question of which tax rate apply to my specific product, also the database that is currently available on the European Union, on the European Commission website, does not answer all the questions, because the devil lies in the detail. Yeah? So many products cannot easily be assigned to a specific tax rate in all 27 European Union countries. That makes it very complex. In addition to that, it's not up to date. So the latest update, I just looked it up this morning, took place on the 1st of January. And the search for a specific tax rate, the search for a specific exemption or exception for a product is still a manual one. So that makes it very time-consuming for sellers acting cross-border, selling their product in the e-commerce market. Makes it very complex and time-consuming in order to get the right data. And that, of course, does not only apply to sellers, but it also applies to marketplaces, wherever they have to apply the deemed supplier regulation that come into force as of 1st of July. Because there they need to understand what is the product that is sold and what is the applicable tax rate for the product that is sold. The European Union customs reform also, we received a lot of detailed information yesterday how that looks like. The abolishment of the 22 euro, the VAT exemption abolishment of the 22 euro, which also means that every single product that comes into the European Union has to go through customs. Although no customs, although no VAT is applied, because they are exempt up to a specific amount. No customs applies up to a specific amount. They need to go through the customs. That will be proving quite difficult, I think. And this is another topic that is causing a lot of issues for the e-commerce market. Not to speak about the Brexit, of course. This is also already something that happened and is causing a lot of topics at the border for import and export to Great Britain. I also want to highlight the B2B quick fixes that came into force on the beginning of last year already, where the rules on B2B transactions were strictened and have put a lot of burden also on e-commerce sellers. And the European marketplace liability, I already mentioned that, is a fact where not only marketplaces actually, but electronic interfaces in general, and that word is really broad. It's really applicable to a lot of platforms, marketplaces, and is much broader than only covering marketplaces itself. So we at eClear, we acknowledge that the compliance requirements in order to determine, to calculate, file, pay, and reclaim VAT on European cross-border business is enormous. So there's enormous string you have to consider. And we are focusing on making the VAT compliance end-to-end compliance. So we want to automate the VAT process end-to-end. Let me take you to the journey. Let me take you to the string of tax compliance. I will go to that in more detail in the following slides. First of all, connectivity is key. It's really important that whatever content you require, whatever content you extract, that this is connected to your system. We have pre-built connectivity to to different shop systems like Plenty Markets, Magento, for example. And we also have pre-built plugins and connectivities to S/4HANA and SAP R/3. That's important to make an integration to our cloud, and I will explain that in a bit more detail later, what our cloud includes. Connectivity is key in order to really do the end-to-end tax automation. During the last couple of years, eClear built a huge tax engine that provides the right tax content to an ERP or to a shop system. Why is that so important? So we have thousands of tax rules. I mentioned that at the very beginning of the presentation. Within the European Union, the systems, different jurisdictions are hyper complex. So that means for every single country, you need to know which tax rates, which tax rules apply to your product. We combine that all in one tax engine. We combined that for 30 jurisdictions. We included thousands of tax rules in 24 different languages. In the meantime, and this number is growing every day actually, in the meantime, our tax engine, which is based on a SAP system in the cloud, it includes, in the meantime, more than 800,000 eClear tax codes, and in addition to that, more than 50,000 exceptions. We are convinced that it's not sufficient to group products in order to find the right VAT rate. Instead, we go to the very end of a product. We use the most detailed information of a product. We go down to the SKU, so to the single article of a product. We already included millions of products in our tax engine, which allows us to connect sellers and merchants with their product in our engine and to automatically apply, to automatically assign the right VAT rate to their products. The tax content is important on one side, and the tax database I just explained, the cloud, based on a cloud, on the SAP cloud. And the really important aspect I would like to highlight here is that we also include tax updates in our engine. So that means whatever change happens in different jurisdictions, our tax engine keeps the relevant tax rates always up to date. Why is that important? It's important because we see that VAT and VAT rates are more and more becoming a political instrument. Especially in the last couple of months, we saw that tax rates have been changed, some of them in really short notice. In Germany, for example, for a time of only 6 months, where the tax rate was reduced. And for mask, for example. So the tax rates are really becoming a political instrument also for local jurisdictions. And we are expecting that this will become even more relevant within the next couple of years. Also with the liberalization of VAT codes within the European Union. I mentioned at the very beginning the eClear ID or the eClear tax codes, and I would like to explain how that works. So we really created a new European standard where we harmonized the existing data that is available already. So we used the 6-digit customs harm code, which is already not sufficient in order to file intrastat declarations, and that's why we've gone 2 steps further. First of all, we created a unique European VAT code, 10 digits, and we added another 4 digits to that code that we call the eClear tax code. And these 4 digits at the end is actually where the magic happens, because in these 4 digits, we include all regional exceptions, all exemptions in 30 jurisdictions based on local rules and local VAT rules. I mentioned at the very beginning that the assignment or that the connectivity is really key in order to do end-to-end tax automation. So what we do is that at the very beginning of such a project, it's crucial to assign the inventory of a merchant to the respective tax taxonomy rules, so to our eClear IDs. As soon as this automated assignment happened, let's take the example here, a sneaker. You have one specific eClear tax code that is assigned to this product. As soon as assigned, you can be sure that every applicable tax rate in 27 tax jurisdictions applies correctly, on time, on demand for the specific product. And this is quite crucial. So when you look at sneaker, for example, it's really the question, what is the size of the sneaker? Because for clothing of children, for example, you have some countries that apply reduced rate to these kind of products. Others apply, even exempt these kind of products, and others apply the regular VAT rate. And to monitor these changes is really time consuming, it's error prone, and sometimes you are not even up to date because you received the information too late, or the change in the jurisdiction happened too fast. We also provide a display functionality. That means as soon as the country of destination changes in the web shop of a customer, in the web shop of a merchant, our display functionality allows the merchant to automatically determine the right VAT rate, the right VAT amount for this specific product in the shop environment. Very quickly, we also allow sellers to automatically check whether the VAT identification number of a customer in case of a B2B transaction, which also happen in the shop environment, to allow the merchant and the seller to automatically validate this tax identification number via connections that we've built with the Federal Tax Office in Germany and in Austria. We also have a connection to the fees database from the European Commission, and we are constantly expanding these checks with other countries like UK or France, for example. It is important to put the right tax content into the ERP or shop system. We also allow our customers to extract the data into our tax engine, where this data can be validated in order to do an automatic filing via our eClear tax engine filing hub. Also the one-stop shop connection, so these declarations that will be available for merchants if they choose to use the one-stop shop. We are building connections to different federal tax offices worldwide in order to allow an end-to-end tax filing possibility. It is very important to state that even under the one-stop shop, whatever you file locally as a seller, you are still liable for the VAT. You have to pay the VAT in the country of destination. You can do that via the one-stop shop or via local filing, and that doesn't matter. But you are still liable for the VAT, and you are also the person that is facing potential VAT audits. We just heard that in the prior presentation. Audit is a very important aspect also for different jurisdictions in order to receive the right amount of VAT. And I doubt that the one-stop shop will help here, this kind of declaration, simply because I don't think that the German tax authorities will do audits for countries like Greece or Poland or whatever, simply because they would have to follow the local regulations, and this is proving quite difficult in my view. So I think at least for the next couple of years, the tax audit will still remain with the local tax authorities. That means taxpayers have to handle tax audits from other European Union member states. They have to do the communication with the local tax authorities. That will be difficult. And that is one reason why I would like to introduce you now to a really unique solution that eClear has built. We call it Clear VAT, where we are talking about a unique solution with regard to a full-service clearinghouse for VAT and customs. eClear has a banking license. So eClear is the only provider in Europe that has the possibility to collect VAT and to acquire VAT payments, and to do even the VAT payments, so the last step in the process, for merchants. Let me show you how that works. What we do with this solution, Clear VAT, is that we provide merchants and sellers with the possibility to deliver their products VAT-free throughout Europe. It's easy to explain that using an example. So let's take this example here. You have a French merchant who has to pay 22% VAT in Italy for a sale that he's doing from France to Italy to a consumer located in Italy. So this is the normal regulation. This is the tax law that applies here. And with Clear VAT, we reduce these VAT obligations to zero, and not only to Italy, but to all European Union member states. How does that work? The seller enters into a contract with eClear. One contract covers all 27 European Union member states. We integrate into the ERP or shop system of a merchant, and we are the party that is responsible to issue an invoice to the customer. The delivery, however, is still in the hands of the merchant. So he is responsible to fulfill the order of a customer. He's responsible to deliver the product to the consumer in the country of destination. It is eClear's responsibility to issue an invoice to the customer, and this is unique here. Due to our banking license, we are allowed to collect the payment from the consumer, and we pay the respective VAT amount to the tax authorities in the country of destination. The remaining amount, in this example here, the 100, is then settled and paid to the merchant, to the seller of the product, but reduced by a commission that is kept by eClear. A big advantage here is that in case of a return shipment, the merchant does not need to wait for the VAT reclaim to be paid back by the local tax authorities. Instead, we can ensure an instant pre-financing of that VAT reclaim. Another big advantage of this solution of eClear VAT is that with this solution, we can reduce the tax liability for the seller in the country of destination to 0, and also the audit risk is reduced to 0. Our quality, the quality of our systems and the quality of our solutions is certified. So we have a software certification from SAP, and we have we are cooperating with Deloitte and supported by Deloitte in building these solutions. We have a certification provided by BDO that our software, or that certification is that our software is in line with the standard on software systems and bookkeeping. And as mentioned already, we have a license, a banking license that is applicable for all European Union countries. This summarizes the set of our modules, the set of our solutions that we provide. So the VAT rules that I explained at the very beginning, this huge database and the update engine that we can provide, the VAT suite for the string of tax compliance, where we also provide end-to-end tax filing possibilities, and our full service solution, where we even provide the possibility to do the VAT payment and also to take the risk in the country of destination. Thank you very much.
Super, thank you, Anita. I think for everybody who's a little bit stressed out about the upcoming changes, it's always good to know what type of solutions are available. And this was a very clear explanation about what eClear can do to help as well, but also, yeah, a very comprehensive explanation about the solution itself. We've got a few questions coming in. First of all, thank you everybody for putting the questions in the question box instead of the chat function. That makes our lives a little bit easier as well. So thank you so much for that. First question, Anita, is from Sridevi. He's wondering why quick fixes on VAT are called quick fixes. What's your take on the same? For example, are they really quick fixes, and how does eClear handles it?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, the plan from the European Commission is quite a big one, yeah, because they want to change the VAT system in whole, want to come to a VAT law instead of a VAT directive. That is proving difficult when you have to talk to 27, formerly 28 European Union countries. So I think that was the first step before really the definite VAT regime and VAT law can come into force. They really wanted to take some quick fixes in order to reduce VAT fraud within the European Union. So yeah, they are quick because the big solution is still, we are still waiting for the big step and the big solution. So from my perspective, yeah, this is at least one step in the right direction in order to reduce the VAT fraud.
Super, thank you. Jos Verheijen is wondering, how do you maintain your tax, your engine content? I guess that might have something to do with that as well. But...
We are working together with local offices in all member states, and we have a process that also have been certified to ensure that the updates are done on time and real time. As soon as something changes, this is directly put into our engine.
Super, thank you. Anna Tusanen is wondering, any reason why would you expect the VAT rates to be fluctuating? Based on the German example, one can see that it really does not help out much. More costs and admin issues for multinationals as well as for SMEs.
So what we, currently, the European Union countries are allowed to maintain 3 different tax rates. Some of them have local specialities, or they have specific reductions they are allowed to apply. But that is it. Yeah. So only 3 tax rates and exemptions, of course. That is what they can provide. But that will change going forward. So with the implementation of the one-stop shop, the European Commission, the European Union members also agreed on a plan that they want to liberalize the VAT rates. And this is what we are expecting to come in the near future. And then it will become even more complex to really follow which tax rate apply to my specific product, especially when they are used as a political instrument in single member states. So of course you can do that on a manual basis. Yeah, you can use employees in order to monitor and to maintain the tax rates in the system. But the big advantage of the eClear tax engine is that as soon as you are connected with the engine, you no longer need to think about it. And I know what I'm talking about with my experiences within an indirect tax function, how time-consuming it can be, how much money you have to spend with local tax advisors in order to get the right information for the right VAT rate. That's really time-consuming. You have to spend a lot of money to external advisors. So this can really help.
Yes, super. Fani Sabnivisu is asking more about kind of what Clear VAT is doing. Question is, Clear VAT, is this the same as invoice financing with the added feature only that eClear will pay the VAT to the tax authorities, or is there more to it?
It's like a legal construct that we are building here. So it's based on a kind of commissionaire structure that we are really in between the merchant and the consumer. So we are creating a chain transaction here from the merchant to eClear, building or allowing a VAT exempt intra-community supply to us from the merchant, and then subsequently a second supply from us to the consumer in the country of destination. So it's much more than only a finance topic. It's really we are contracting with the consumer from a legal perspective.
Yeah, super. Anna is wondering, as to your example, whether eClear is the middleman in the chain that you gave.
It's exactly. So this is a three-party transaction, and we are in the middle of the transaction. Correct. What I just explained.
Super. And then Jos Verheij is wondering whether your solution typically is for B2C businesses or whether it's also for B2B.
It is for B2C businesses. It's meant for B2C businesses, because for B2B you would have the same consequences. For B2B you would have a VAT exempt intra-community supply, so it's really meant to be B2C.
Peter Nolte is asking, can you give an example of the structure of your tax code with 14 digits?
The structure, as I just explained, the basis is really that we start with the customs harm code. And when you import products into the European Union, you already require more digits than the 6 digits from the customs harm code. And what we exactly use that structure. We harmonized that and we added another 4 digits to that, because what we see is that these 6 digits, the 10 digits are not sufficient. Yeah, they are not capable in order to really handle VAT rates. They are used for customs, but they are not sufficient in order to use or to deal with this VAT rates itself. And we combine that and make that usable also from a VAT perspective.
Super. Umesh is wondering, in the given example, the invoice will be generated on the real time and sent to the merchant to send the invoice along with the delivery.
The invoice is generated in the shop system to the consumer, and the merchant receives a kind of self-billing invoice in order that we can also settle the amount with the merchant directly.
Super. By the way, Peter Nolte is curious on the additions that you have, so you might kind of want to go into a break room with him during the next
sure.
to discuss.
Happy to do that.
Super. And then Umesh has another question. What about the domestic sales? France merchants selling to the customer in France. Will the company support it as well, outsourcing complete tax liability completely to eClear?
What we definitely local transactions, so the Clear VAT solution does not really work for the local transaction, not yet. But what we can provide in that instance is that we are able to provide the right VAT rates. And that's already a giant step in some cases. When you look at clothing industry, food industry, for example, where it is really, really challenging to get the right VAT rate.
Yes, super. Well, thank you so much, Anita. That was very insightful and very clear.
Thank you
for the presentation, answering the questions. eClear also has a room in the kind of on the platform as well. So in case you've got any additional questions, you know where to find her.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We will now take a quick 1-minute break, and then our next speaker will continue. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Anita, for a great presentation, and we'll be back in a moment. Thank you.